I'm here today to give you a daily Bitcoin update. As you can see here, guys, we're going to be starting off on the short-term time frame. We've got an upwards sloping parallel channel coming through here for Bitcoin, which we've been talking about for like probably the last day or so now. We did actually try and break that to the upside yesterday. Did fairly well. Breaking that to the upside, but it wasn't the strongest sort of trend in the world, and we did actually plot in this very crucial horizontal at 51,684. There was a potential long position to come out of this zone, and that would have been probably something around Probably something around along the likes of that, right? If we do a measure move inside of this parallel channel, and it'll probably give us a bit more direction on how that long would have looked and how high we could have actually got in terms of a percentage for that. But unfortunately, guys, I was actually waiting for an entry around this sort of area here yesterday, and yes, we did clear the horizontal. We did get a candle body close above the horizontal, but literally quite imminently, we did see downwards pressure playing out. I was looking for this retest, and the retest, the support just didn't hold on the retest, right? So we just didn't get in, right? I just didn't get in and just let it go. And to be honest, thank God for that, right? Because it has just pretty much trended down from there. Now, at this point in time, this morning so far, guys, we have seen pretty extreme dumpage to the downside here for Bitcoin, right? Pretty extreme. Back inside this parallel channel, and we have actually fallen below this key horizontal here, guys. We've got resistance coming through from this horizontal multiple times. Remember, on the 5th of December. Remember the 5th of December when we were testing this multiple times here, and the 6th. And recently, I was well, literally before the stream, I was thinking, right, we could either bounce here. If we don't bounce here, there's definite other bounce points on the longer term time frames. As you can see, very strong trend lines there as well. We will get to that. We'll get to that very shortly. But yeah, unfortunately, we haven't bounced in this key point, which I was hoping that we would bounce. We have actually had a candle body close just below that at around 49,209, and that is basically an indication that we could potentially be going a bit lower, right? Potentially that we could be going a little bit lower, because this whole zone here that we are basically playing in now is this consolidatory, this range. We were sat in this range for quite a while from before, guys. We've got a very strong higher low here from the previous low, right? Obviously, we know about this previous low in terms of candle bodies, right? So we've obviously got this low here, then we've got the higher low, and even if we're coming down to test this crucial trend line in terms of this upwards sloping support line here, sat around 48,500. Keep that number in your head, 48,500. That's going to be a very good point to bounce from there, guys, because that's the kind of target that we're aiming for here. If we lose that, obviously it's going to be really quite bad, but there's definitely going to be a short position, which we can discuss very fairly shortly, right? But yeah, in terms of a bounce point to be looking out for there, 48,500. Please keep that in your head for the later on T8 throughout Bitcoin here. Now, let's talk about potential short position if we do start cascading down the stairs, if we do deep sea diving here, if we're going for the deepest dive in the ocean, the deepest dive in the ocean, where I'm going with that, we're going to be looking at some sort of measure move, guys. The measure move that we could be looking for in terms of a potential short position here. Granted, it's not going to be a very favorable charting decision, because obviously everyone wants to be insanely bullish, everyone wants us to recover, but come on, let's be realistic. If we're going to be making money here, we're going to be shorting, we're going to be longing. We're not just going to be sitting and waiting. we're not about that, right? So yeah, if there is going to be a short position to be taken advantage of, why are we not going to take it? Of course we are. At this point in time, we are actually coming back up and we're testing this horizontal here. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we do it, how this does actually plan out, whether this is going to be a trap here, and whether we're going to recover and actually see a nice candle body close around this zone above this horizontal. If we can, we could potentially see a nice swift recovery coming through there for Bitcoin. And that's probably going to be around 49,500. So yeah, definitely a point to watch there. But yeah, in terms of the short position that we were just talking about there, guys, this is definitely going to be something that we could be looking at profiting from later on, around 4.56% there. And you can see the volume weighted ATR band coming down to say hello as well. So potentially we're going to see this curl over and plot out a very nice take profit point for us there in terms of a completion of the measure move, lining up like the stars, pretty good, right? That's going to be the ideal sort of scenario there for Bitcoin, right? In terms of making money on the daily, right? Because at this point in time, I mean, there's a couple of things we could be doing here. If we do claim this zone here, I mean, I'm not just going to be blindly longing this. I know we do have an ascending triangle here, guys, because you can see the support coming through here. You can see the resistance on this zone. You've got a horizontal, you've got an upward sloping support line. Does create an ascending triangle, guys, which is technically a bullish chart pattern. Annoyingly, we are at the bottom of a downtrend, right? So technically, it is a bit of a bearish pattern, so we do need to take that into consideration as well. I'm probably not just going to be blindly long in this zone. Yeah, probably not just going to be blindly long in this zone, guys. I think it's just a bit too risky, especially after what we have just seen here for Bitcoin. It does look a little bit too bearish here on the micro, and also the macro as well. So yeah, we'll get to that fairly shortly. But yeah, that's what I would say about Bitcoin here on the short term to start off with here, for this. For what we got going on here, you can see the RSI, right? You can see where we are on the RSI. We're near enough. We just cleared actually the lowest horizontal that we have recently, so that is going to be classed as a higher low from obviously the huge dip that we did have on the 4th of December there. So yeah, quite interesting stuff actually. Completely forgot how to chart then. Yeah, completely interesting, very interesting stuff actually happening here, guys. Because if we do see us come down even further, then we do clear this horizontal, and then we're going to have a bullish divergence basically playing out, waiting for us there. And that's obviously going to be if we are going to be setting a lower low on the RSI, as well as whereas a higher low on the actual chart, right? So yeah, let's get that drawn in. Let's get that drawn in now. Yeah, we're definitely going to go off the wick for that there, guys. And as you can see, it's not going to take that much momentum. If we do see actually us break these very crucial chart patterns here, as obviously we've got that that upward sloping parallel channel there, and also that that ascending triangle as well. If we break both of them in terms of a downwards momentum, we're obviously going to see the RSI take a big hit as well. Probably clear this low around 10.64, creating that bullish divergence. When that is going to be created, guys, and we are going to see a bit of a pullback coming through there, we definitely need to be prepared for that bullish divergence to really come into fruition there. And that's when we're going to be looking at either closing our trade or just taking a significant amount of profit away from that, right? Because obviously we're going to be shorting in this zone. Obviously nothing I say is financial advice, guys. Please go do your own research. I'm not here to give you trades. I'm here to literally educate you in TA. You can copy my TA and do your own research, but I'm here to educate you, right? That's the mentality of why I do what I do. Now, in terms of the MACD, actually, there's some actually quite interesting thing happening on the MACD right now. As we were talking about yesterday, we did have a potential trend cycle being formed, right? Potential trend cycle being formed, and we know about these cycles, guys. This is just a clean example of what happened basically a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, we saw a very strong trend cycle to the downside actually play out, right? And this is where we draw this trend line coming in here, and it forms a higher low on the MACD. Obviously, still bullish, but it just basically plans for a reversal of the trend, right? And this is what I was looking for this morning here. As you can see, there was a correlated point for the reversal of the trend, but unfortunately, as you can see, we actually haven't had that bullish crossover to confirm the end of this downtrend like we have seen on these areas coming through here, guys. You have a little bit of an upwards momentum, a little bit of a small, tiny uptrend, and then you see another downtrend forming. But on this, in terms of this trend now, we still haven't actually seen that. So this actual trend line that we are talking about now, wherever this trend actually reverses, this is where we're going to be. We're going to be editing this line, because you can see it is very correlative here, but it's actually not going to get valid now because we're actually going to be moving this as we go there. So it's all depending on when this trend is going to start to fizzle out. That's basically going to give us more direction for the next downwards, the next downtrend that we are going to see there for Bitcoin, and the potential reversal point that we could be using for the future. Now, in terms of the uptrend, guys, we've got obviously we've got these two massive uptrends coming through here on the MACD. This is obviously high. This is obviously the lower high. Now we're actually waiting for a potential new trend for an uptrend there, and that's obviously going to be basically perfectly planning out a point of resistance there. So it's the longer that we're in this downtrend, right? The longer that we're in this current downtrend in terms of this current price movement here, guys, the smaller the uptrend's going to be, right? The smaller the uptrend target's going to be, and that's going to be, as you can see, it's going to be around this sort of area here. Whether we can, it's going to be pretty tiny in terms of a resistance point for that reversal of the trend of an uptrend, right? So what does that tell us? That basically tells us to be prepared for, in a sense, a pullback, but not quite a strong enough pullback to basically signify getting into like a long position or something like that, right? And that's another reason why I wouldn't be blindly longing this ascending triangle. Yeah, I wouldn't be blindly longing this ascending triangle, because even if we were to do that, you can see the gap that we've got here is just it's pathetic. It's really quite bad. I mean, to be honest, we this isn't like 100%. It's not 100%. They don't 100% play out as always. But we do need to take into consideration as a piece of information. We know these trend cycles do they tend to play out, right? They tend to play out. So yeah, why aren't we going to use this as a piece of information there? But yeah. That's going to be it for the short-term time frame there for Bitcoin. What I would say, even if we do come down to this lower point here on this rising parallel channel, guys, it's still going to be a high low. It's still going to be a high low. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just where we're going to bounce and how it's going to react to that. And obviously we were just talking about the MACD in terms of the bounce for the uptrend. It's probably not going to be that great, right? So there's an indication that we're probably going to come down to this 48,500, have a little bit of an uptrend, maybe up to this sort of area here, probably quite fast, and then probably coming down a little bit further, right? Maybe just ranging in this sort of area today before potential breakdowns here. And yeah, if we break down, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, we're going to be profiting, and we do have pretty crucial high lows to still get over. So we can even still come down to 47,400 here on the short term and still be fairly bullish in terms of the micro uptrend, which we're currently a part of, right? God, there's a lot to say. But now let's move to the midterm here for Bitcoin. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep that horizontal in there. That's quite nice. Yeah, in terms of the midterm here for Bitcoin, let me just have some H2O, and we will carry on. Very good stuff indeed. Very good stuff indeed. Now you can see this very strong downtrend from the all-time high coming through there, guys. We have actually we've reclaimed that, right? It's actually quite progressively positive, right? What a strange use of words. It's quite progressively positive right now because you can see, one, we've got this very strong upward sloping support line here. You can see the support that we have along these zones, really quite nice, really quite nice. So what does that tell us, right? That tells us that we are going to come down here. We're going to be looking at coming down to around this trend line, right? Coming down to around this trend line. And what was that figure that I basically said to remember from earlier? 48,500, guys. 48,500 is that figure. That's pretty much the bounce point that we are looking for. So that tells us that we got a trend line coming down from very crucial highs there. From high trends on the midterm there, and also very crucial trends on the micro as well. So yeah, very crucial stuff. Very nice bounce point to be looking for is going to be 48,500. Now also we do have the volume weighted ATR band coming through there as well, which we have just claimed, which is quite nice because we know the support we can get on that, right? We know the support that we can get on that. Let's get a bit more data, right? Let's get a bit more data. You can see the support is very nice here, very juicy, I may say. It's very nice in terms of a level of support, as you can see, really good. If we are below it, guys, we tend to usually trend below it, and as you can see here, very steep trends if we do that. He said do. As you can see, we have got very good levels of support. So what does that tell us? That tells us in terms of the live price right now, we're coming down to test that zone again. We could potentially have a very juicy big level of support on that as well. And that's going to be around 48,267. So you see what I'm trying to say here, guys? There's a lot of bounce points to be looking out for here. There's a lot of support in the pond. There's a lot of support coming through, right? So yeah, it's definitely very crucial points to be looking out for there for the old Bitcoin here on the midterm. Now, let's go on the basis that we actually break down from this chart pattern because it is still a downtrend, guys. It is still a downtrend. Let's get rid of that. It is still a downtrend at this point in time, guys. So if we do lose the volume weighted ATR band, we've seen the consequences for that, right? We've seen the consequences for us losing the volume weighted ATR band. It's pretty bad, right? It's really quite bad. So yeah, we basically need to take that into consideration because if that is going to happen, I'm looking at 46,508. That's very strong in terms of a target, and that is going to be the low point that we've recently seen in this downtrend in terms of candle body closes, guys. So yeah, definitely a point to be looking out for there is going to be that 48,500, yes, and also 46,500 as well for a bounce point if we lose these crucial levels of support, guys. So yeah, interesting stuff to be looking out for today, and we know how Bitcoin's reacting today. Pretty volatile stuff, right? Pretty volatile stuff. So who knows what could happen? No, just be patient, be calm and collected. We're gonna be calm throughout these moves, and we're gonna be making money throughout these moves because that's why we're here. You know why we're here. We're here to make money. It's as simple as that, right? So yeah, let's bring up the RSI coming through because we do actually have a bearish divergence that I did want to talk about as well because That's obviously giving us quite a bit of selling pressure to the downside, right? And that's probably what we are seeing now, which it's not the end of the world, guys. We did predict this. We were talking about this yesterday in terms of the yesterday's update. We were talking about this in potential for actually coming into fruition. Then we actually cleared this lower high from this high from before, and we actually caused that bearish divergence to come into fruition there, right? Because we didn't see a high actually get formed here in terms of the price action there. So yeah, we do have this bearish divergence. We do have that pushing us down, and that's probably why we are seeing us push down at the moment. But yeah, just you know, the support points now. We know why we're coming down. Let's have a look at let's look at the DMI, right? This is the directional movement index, I do believe. The directional movement index, yeah, a new indicator that I have been not learning. I knew a little bit about it briefly. I just never really used it, and now I'm using it a fair bit, to be honest, in terms of my trading. It's actually a really, really good good indicator to be using, guys. It's made up of the ADX and also the DMI positive and the DMI negative. When we do see a crossover from the negative, which is the orange one, and also the blue is the positive, guys. If we see a negative crossover to the top side here, that is obviously meaning downwards momentum, right? And as you can see, when we do see that actually come into fruition there, downwards momentum coming through, very, very strong indeed. Now, what does this tell us? It tells us we're getting further away from a potential bullish crossover, guys, because obviously we've got the positive on the lower side. Now, the ADX, the higher that this bad boy is, the stronger the movement's going to be, right? The stronger the movement's going to be, and it basically tells you that. So yeah, quite interesting indicator to be using there, guys. Definitely something to do some research on for you newer traders out there to be learning it. But yeah, overall, we are still really quite high in terms of the ADX there. Still above 25. That's usually the sort of area we go for there. But yeah, nearly above 35 there. If we get a bullish crossover here, we're probably going to bang it up, right? And it's going to be really quite nice. But yeah, we basically missed our crossover around this sort of area here. A bit annoying, but it is what it is, right? So yeah, moving away from the DMI now, let's have a look at, we were talking about the volume yesterday, actually. We were talking about this volume and how it was trending down, because as you can see here, guys, we've got a very nice strong downtrend here on the volume, and what we're seeing literally right now is a nice big well, no, it's not really, there's no smart money involved there, guys, but it is still a nice little volume breakout there. So yeah, definitely I'm more just saying a few things for the newer traders to sort of take and learn, right? So yeah, definitely volume breakouts is definitely something to be looking out for as well there, guys. But yeah, in terms of should we do some moving averages coming through on the midterm here for Bitcoin? As you can see, we're below all major moving averages. It does show that we are bearish, guys. We did come up and we tested this 21 recently. We actually held it fairly confidently. We came and we saw these white candles coming through, and when we see these white candles, guys, it basically means we're ranging in the zone, basically trying to find some sort of trend direction here. And yeah, we found the direction, and it was more to the downside. Unfortunately, yes, it was to the downside. But next time, if we do come up and we do test this price action channel, the one coming through here, let me get rid of all the other moving averages for now. Let's get rid of the other moving averages for now. Come on. No, let's keep them. And yeah, as you can see, guys, this is the price action channel. Goodness me, this is the price action channel. As you can see, we have got we are ranging when we are seeing these white candles coming through here, and if we are red candles, we are seeing downtrend, right? Progressively blue candles, we're looking at uptrends coming through there. Not too bad at all. So it basically tells you what sort of direction the sort of trend is favoring, and as you can see at this point in time, we are looking for a potential downtrend to come through. We spoke about bounce points there. 48,500 is definitely a huge point to be watching today there, guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the midterm there. Let's jump through to the longer term time frames there. And that's going to be a bit of the daily, right? We're probably going to touch on the weekly as well. Starting off with the daily, as you can see, volume profile visible range is strong. And when I say strong, guys, I mean, look at it. It's ridiculously strong coming through here. The strongest on the chart, as we can see here. So that obviously shows another huge level of support below us, right? 48,500. That's the point to be watching today. Really, really, really crucial point to be watching today. 48,500. And as I said, if we do lose that here on the short-term time frame, guys, we're going to be shorting. It's absolutely fine. We're going to be making money either way. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, in terms of the daily coming through here, guys, we do have obviously the volume profile visible range as a massive level of support there. We've obviously got this sort of blank area, this sort of dead space that we are looking at here, guys. This dead space up to around 53K. So if we are going to get some sort of new investment, some big confidence boost coming in for Bitcoin there, and the whales did want to manipulate the hell out of it and flip everyone back bullish, they're going to be throwing it up to 53K, guys. I wouldn't really be insanely bullish until we've cleared 53K. That's when I'm going to be back on the bull horse. back on the bull horse. That's when I'm gonna be really back on the train of the bulls, right? But at this point in time, it's quite undecided on where we're actually gonna go. But yeah, it's interesting, quite interesting. But yeah, in terms of the 200 EMA, we are currently below it, guys. We currently lost that today. Not great. I know, not great, because usually when we are below that, guys, we do see resistance playing out fairly strong. But yeah, so we still got 12 hours, guys. We still got 12 hours of the day, so we'll just see how that does actually plan out there. And we're basically just going to go from there and see how we go, right? See how we go. We obviously do have this pretty strong, let me get rid of the volume profile visible range there. Pretty strong box zone coming through here in terms of consolidatory place there, guys. That's definitely a point to be looking out for there. So if we do come into that zone there, expect a bit of ranging, expect a bit of sideways, and that's going to be between 44,500 and around 48,900, right? So yeah, interesting stuff coming through there for the longer term time frame for Bitcoin. I want to say as well, we do have a fairly strong point on the RSI as well for the daily chart here, guys. You can see this pretty strong trend line that we've been talking about for quite a while now. Yeah, quite a long time we've been talking about this. But we are quite low on the RSI, guys. So when we do see either ranging sideways action, this is obviously going to be pulling the RSI back to the central point. And this is going to be over the next couple of weeks throughout December there. Or if we see a huge pump to the upside there for Bitcoin, then we know we're going to find resistance. So this is definitely going to be a resistance point to be looking out for there as well. Let me talk about what's next. What's next? Bull market barrier. Let's have a little look at that. We are pretty confirmed red at this point in time, guys. Really, really quite bad. Not the nicest thing in the world. But as you can see, we were in the undecided area for quite a while. I mean, just in general, we had a very strong uptrend here for the daily chart. As you can see, massive levels of resistance to the top side, massive levels of support to the bottom side here. Granted, yes, we have lost that. If we see progression to the upside and we reclaim that, we're going to be reclaiming the bull market barrier. We're going to be reclaiming this trend. It's going to be pretty goddamn good, right? I'm still technically pretty bullish on Bitcoin overall in terms of the long haul there, and I will be going to the weekly chart to show you how bullish it is. But in terms of the daily right now, this actually isn't that bad what's happened. I know everyone's fretting. I know everyone's really panicky and stuff like that, and we're seeing a reflection of that on the Fear and Greed Index, right? I know everyone's in a bit of a mental sort of state right now just because we have seen insane dumps to the downside after all-time highs. That's absolutely fine, guys. It's absolutely fine for that to happen as long as we don't lose this 41,000 there. If we lose 41K, guys, that's when we can start really worrying. And that's when 30K, 35K is really going to be on the cards there. And to be honest, it's just going to be, for me, as I said, very bullish in terms of the really long term there for Bitcoin. So that's absolutely fine for me. If we get to 30K, I'm just going to be buying more Bitcoin, right? Buying more Bitcoin because I do believe it's gonna absolutely bang it, right? In the future. So yeah, I'm just gonna be using these as accumulation phases continuously. When you see a massive dump to the downside like this, I mean, granted, I did miss this one because it was at like 4 a.m. or something in England, which sucks. But usually with these dumps, I just accumulate on the way down, right? I just accumulate on the way down. And you know for a fact it's not just going to go down, guys. It's going to bounce at some point. And obviously I know it happens in the space of like 10 minutes. You see the price just like just going down like absolute crazy. But it will bounce. It's going to bounce. So yeah, just sit back, be calm, collected, watch it and be like, yep, I'm going to put a limit order down like 20% down there or something. Yeah. So yeah, you just buy it up basically. Yeah, let me I think that's pretty much it for Bitcoin, guys. Let me jump to the weekly and let's have a little look at how bullish this weekly chart actually does look here. Give everyone a bit more confidence here for Bitcoin. Obviously we do have the low coming through around this zone back in 2017, 2018 higher low, 2020 obviously the March Black Swan COVID event. I shouldn't have said it, but we have the Black Swan event coming through here obviously March 2020. That is obviously a very strong higher low as well. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? Even if we do actually lose this higher low at 41K, as I was just saying there, guys, we've still got 35K. We've still got 35K as a massive level of support as well. And to be honest, even with this chart, just in terms of a massive uptrend over the last like 3-4 years, right? It's still fine. It's absolutely fine. We're still setting higher lows. We're still going to the goddamn moon. It's still progressively moving up, right? So yeah, nothing to really be worried about if you are heavily invested in Bitcoin for the next 5 to 10 years, right? You know it's just going to be banging it right up. And if we are going to see progression like we have seen progression in recent history, right, all the way from like 4K, I should probably have the other chart up for this to see more history. But yeah, as you can see, all the way from like 3K to around 53K now, up to around 68K there. we're gonna see progression, guys. We're gonna see more investors. We're gonna see serious gains coming through there. And don't get me wrong, we're probably gonna see massive pullbacks as well, right? And we're just gonna be, we're gonna see massive pullbacks as well. But in terms of a hodl, just hold. You're gonna make money. In terms of actual trading, swing trading, in terms of like big trades there, we're gonna be making money either way, either direction, right? Because we're just accumulating more Bitcoin as we go, right? But yeah, that's gonna be our update today on BTC, guys.